Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yashodanandana Bhattacharya Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhattacharya Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yashodanandana Bhattacharya Ranjana. Yashodanandana Bhattacharya Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prevajakacharya Astatir Sata Shishimat. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishnava Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sika Hoshi Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur, Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shavakun, Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavandam Ki Jai, Shri Maya Punabdam Ki Jai, Gangamaya Ki Jai, Jamunamaya Ki Jai, Tosadevi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Chatsana Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Go Premanandi, all glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, this morning we'll read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 18, text number 41. Sarat Padmotsavam Bhaktam Bachash Cha Shravanamritam Hridayam Kṣura Dharabham Strinam Ko Veda Chestitam Sarat Padmotsavam Bhaktam Machascha Shravanamritam Hridayam Kṣura Dharabham Strinam Ko Veda Chestitam Sarat Padmotsavam Bhaktam Bachascha Shravan Amritam Hridayam Kṣura Dharabham Strinam Ko Veda Chestitam Sarat Padmotsavam Bhaktam Bachascha Shravan Amritam Hridayam śūdrābham Strinam kovida chestitam Sarpadmotsavam patram Bhatascha shravanamritam Hridayam śūdrābham Strinam kovida chestitam
Savam Bhaktram Vachascha Shravanamritam Hridayam Shuradharavam Strinam Kovida Cheshtitam.
Sarat, in the autumn. Padma, a lotus flower. Utsavam, blossoming. Vaktram, face. Vacha, words. Cha, and Shravana, to the ear. Amritam, giving pleasure. Hridayam, heart. Śūdrā, the blade of a razor. Abham, like. Strinam, of women. Ka, who. Veda, knows. Chestitam, the dealings. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. A woman's face is as attractive and beautiful as a blossoming lotus flower during autumn. Her words are very sweet, and they give pleasure to the ear. But if we study a woman's heart, we can understand it to be extremely sharp, like the blade of a razor. In these circumstances, who could understand the dealings of a woman? Purport. Woman is now depicted very well from the materialistic point of view by Kaśyapa Muni. Now, there's also a spiritual point of view. There's many very exalted women in our society. So there's also the spiritual point. Women are generally known as the fair sex, and especially in youth. At the age of 16 or 17, women are very attractive to men. Therefore, a woman's face is compared to a blossoming lotus flower in autumn. Just as a lotus is extremely beautiful in autumn, a woman at the threshold of youthful beauty is extremely attractive. In Sanskrit, a woman's voice is called Nari Shvara, because women generally sing, and their singing is very attractive. At the present moment, cinema artists, especially female singers, are especially welcome. Some of them earn fabulous amounts of money simply by singing. Therefore, as taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a woman's singing is dangerous because it can make a sannyasi fall a victim to the women. Sannyas means giving up the company of women, but if a sannyasi hears the voice of a woman and sees her beautiful face, he certainly becomes attracted and is sure to fall down. There have been many examples. Even the great sage Viśvāmitra fell a victim to Menakā. Therefore, a person desiring to advance in spiritual consciousness must be especially careful not to see a woman's face or hear a woman's voice. Well, that'd be pretty tough for our book distribution. We're talking to women all day long. Of course, Lord Chaitanya, he protects. To see a woman's face and appreciate its beauty, or to hear a woman's voice and appreciate her singing, is very nice. Excuse me. That her singing is very nice is a subtle fall down for a brahmachari or a sannyasi. Thus, the description of a woman's features by Kṣatriya Muni is very instructive. The pastime of Lord Chaitanya, when he heard a lady singing some great Vaishnava songs. And do you remember what the Govinda? I forgot the song that she was singing, but he was singing very nice. And Lord Chaitanya was running. Gita Govinda. Lord Chaitanya was running towards the singing. And he's running, and his servant had to pretty much had to tackle him. Oh, and Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, thank you, you saved me," because he said, "No, it's a woman that's singing." So Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, you've saved me." So, when a woman's bodily features are attractive, when her face is beautiful, and when her voice is sweet, she is naturally a trap for a man. The Shastras advise that when such a woman comes to serve a man, she should be considered to be like a dark well covered by grass. In the fields there are many such wells, and a man who does not know about them drops through the grass and falls down. Thus there are many such instructions. Since the attraction of the material is based on attraction for women, Kṣatriya Muni thought, under the circumstances, who can understand the heart of a woman? Janaka Pandit also advised, Vishvāshu naiva kartavya striyo raja kuleshu cha. There are two persons one should not trust, a politician and a woman. These, of course, are authoritative shastric injunctions, and we should therefore be very careful in our dealings with women. Sometimes our Krishna conscious movement is criticized for mingling men and women, but Krishna consciousness is meant for everyone. Whether one is a man or a woman does not matter. Lord Krishna personally says, striyo vaiśyās śūdrās tepi yānti parāṁ gatim. Whether one is a woman, śūdra, vaiśya, not to speak of being a brāhmaṇa or kṣatriya, everyone is fit to return home back to Godhead if he strictly follows the instructions of the spiritual master and śāstra. We therefore request all the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, both men and women, not to be attracted by bodily features, but only to be attracted by Krishna. Then everything will be all right. Otherwise, there will be danger. Om Jnanatamādandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshram Litam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukhaṁ Kurtva Achalam Pamunam Vaite Gurim Yat Kripātadaham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakāpatubhyascha Kripa Sinubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I beg the blessings of the Vaishnavas that I could say something that is inspiring from this verse in purport. Here Kashyapa Muni, he's lamenting that he fell a victim to the desire of his wife to get something that he was shocked to hear. The death of Indra. So this is the nature of this world, that there's hankering and lamenting. She's hankering for his death, for Indra's death, and he's lamenting, oh, now I've given her this benediction. So this is the nature of this material world. We're hankering and lamenting. The non-devotees, they're hankering like anything for sense gratification. So much they're hankering for sense gratification. Here, this is the epitome of sense gratification, Pacific Beach, and there's so much hankering for sense gratification, and there's so much frustration, so much lamentation. The nature of this world. And devotees also lament, just like Hari Hari Vipale Janama Koinu Manusha Janama Pai Radha Krishna Padya. Narottam Das Thakur, he laments that, O Lord Hari, I've wasted my life, having obtained this human form of life which is very rare. Like a miser, I have not worshipped Radha and Krishna, but have willingly drunken poison. This is actually, Prabhupada said, this is his favorite song. Hari Hari Vipale. So devotees lamenting that he could not surrender to Krishna. Yeah. This is good lamentation. To surrender to Krishna is not an easy thing. Yeah. So a devotee laments, oh, I could not surrender to Krishna. Golok era premadana harinama sankirtana. That the holy name has descended from the spiritual world. But how unfortunate I am that I have not attained a taste for chanting the holy name. And so lamentation also means purification. Purification. So also we're hankering somehow. Krishna, please help me to engage in your service. Material world, there's so much service to Maya. Nunam pramata krute vikarma yad indripita apranoti. That when one thinks that sense gratification is the goal of life, one engages in so much sinful activities. Yeah. But there's a problem with these activities, this sense gratification. It's temporary. It's a cause of misery, and one also has to go through the more repetition of birth and death. So these are the three problems with material sense gratification. There's a beginning and there's an end. Lamentation, again, lamentation. And Krishna, he gives us many hints in the Bhagavad Gita and also the Srimad Bhagavatam on how to avoid this. Dhyayato visyang pungsa sangaste supajayate sangat sanjayate kama kama karobhajayate. While contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment for them. From such attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger. From anger, delusion. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. When the memory is bewildered, the intelligence is lost. And when the intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So that's a big hint. You know, it begins with contemplating the objects of the senses. And Prabhupada mentions here that the form of woman is very attractive. but it's an illusion. It's Maya. And the form of a woman is Maya's best trick. We have some pretty good magicians in the world now. Houdini is nothing compared to the magicians we have now. But Maya is the best. Maya is the best. Maya gets this body which is filled with so many obnoxious elements, and a man goes mad after it. Yeah. Literally becomes mad after it. But it's an illusion, so we shouldn't take the illusion too seriously. Don't take Maya too seriously. But we should take Krishna very seriously. If we take Krishna seriously, then we can get out of this whole illusion of the bodily conception of life. This is the root cause of the suffering. There's this bodily conception of life. So to get out of this bodily conception of life, we have to take Krishna consciousness very seriously. We have to hear very attentively. If we don't hear about Krishna attentively, then we'll be again attracted to Maya. There's one amazing pastime with Prabhupada. Some of you might have heard this. Prabhupada had heard about this one devotee who was doing a lot of preaching here in America. He was traveling around preaching, making devotees. And this devotee heard that Prabhupada was at a certain temple, so he went to that temple. That would happen a lot. Devotees would hear that Prabhupada was at a certain place, and they would throng there wherever Prabhupada was. It's like when Prabhupada went to Atlanta. Devotees, there's a lot of traveling Sankirtan. They went to Atlanta, and Prabhupada said, this is the best temple. Maybe he didn't know that they were coming from all over the place. It was packed. The temple was packed. So this devotee also heard that Prabhupada was at a temple, so he went to get Prabhupada's association. And devotees told Prabhupada, this is that devotee. He's doing a lot of preaching, making devotees. And so Prabhupada asked him, would you like to take sannyas? And the devotee said, yeah, that'd be nice. All right, yeah, I'd like to take sannyas. And Prabhupada said, all right, so come and see me later today, and we could discuss the sannyas ceremony. So in the afternoon he went there to see Prabhupada, and the secretary was there, and he asked him, do you have an appointment with Prabhupada? He said, yeah, we're going to discuss my sannyas ceremony. He said, you're going to take sannyas? Do you know what that means? I mean, he was a young, everybody was young back then. He was 25 or so, 26. That means no sex for the rest of your life. Do you ever have sex desire? He said, well, every once in a while, yeah. I don't know. That's a big step. You might want to think about that. So they were talking. And then they started thinking who he should marry. Had a change of consciousness there. So he didn't go see Prabhupada. And the next day Prabhupada saw him. He said, what happened? You were gonna... He had actually come to Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada said, what happened? We were going to discuss the sannyasa ceremony. He said, well, Prabhupada, I was thinking maybe I should get married. And Prabhupada said to him, who's been talking to you? And the devotee said, well, Prabhupada, your secretary. I won't say his name. And Prabhupada called him in. Why are you talking to my brahmacharis? He wanted to take sannyas. Now look at him. All washed up. Look what you did. And the devotee said, but Prabhupada, he said sometimes he has sex desire. And Prabhupada made an amazing statement. He said, anybody that has a material body has sex desire. And the devotee said, "Oops, sorry, Prabhupada." Krishna was speaking to Uddhava, and he said to Uddhava, with the exception of you, everyone has this sex desire. It's interesting. He was a householder too. Interesting. So this is the desire that we have with these material bodies. But you have to tolerate. Apoyamanam machalapasastam samudramabha pavayanitadva. That one who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desire which enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but which is always steady, alone achieves peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy such desires. What's the biggest river in the world? Who knows? Huh? The river that pours in the most water into the ocean. Amazon. It's described that the Amazon is so big that you could be on one side of the bank of the river and you can't see the other side. It's so huge because you got the Amazon jungle there. What's the longest river? Nile. Yeah, Africa. And there's so many other rivers. Here we got the Kala River, there's Mississippi. There's so many rivers in the world. So much water is going in. Fortunately, it doesn't go beyond its. Otherwise, San Diego would be finished. It doesn't. It's steady. Still, the ocean is steady. It doesn't go beyond, the beach right there. It's amazing. So much water is going in. Huh? So far. Yeah. There are tsunamis where it comes over. So yeah, the desires will come also. But we let them go. If we hang on to these desires, these material desires, then we get polluted. We have to let them go. They'll come, let them go. But the desires to serve Krishna, then we hold on to those firmly. We don't want to let those go. But these material desires, we want to let them go. They'll come, let them go. Don't take these material desires seriously. But the desire to please Krishna, we want to take this very seriously. Pray to Krishna to have these desires to serve Krishna. And from wherever the mind wanders, we have to bring it back. Yato yato nishchaliti manaschantamanastiram tatastato nyamyaitat atmanyeyo samne. From wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, we must bring it back under the control of the self. The mind is such a rascal. Anything but Krishna. Anything but Krishna. The mind is such a... We're trying to think of Krishna so much, but then the mind just so many other things keep coming, But by this practice, eventually it'll become anything but Maya. Anything but Maya. Eventually we'll just want Krishna. Anything but Maya. This is the goal. So Prabhupada mentions here in the last sentence, a very interesting sentence here. He says, "We therefore request Thank you. We therefore request all the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, both men and women, not to be attracted by bodily features, but only be attracted by Krishna. Then everything will be all right. Otherwise, there will be danger." So this practice of Krishna consciousness is how to become attracted to Krishna. So if we associate with people that are attracted to Krishna, then that rubs off. Just like Prabhupada was so attracted to Krishna, And therefore people read his books and they become attracted to Krishna. There's so many other people, they translated Bhagavad Gita, but who became a devotee of Krishna? Why didn't they become a devotee? Because the people that were translating, they weren't attracted to Krishna. They were attracted to getting some name and fame and, yeah. But Prabhupada was completely attracted to Krishna. He wanted to attract others also. Actually, a devotee is always thinking how to attract others to Krishna. Therefore we have this Krishna lounge, and now we have the southern Krishna lounge also. Why? To attract people to Krishna. Why are we distributing books? Why are we doing Harinam? Why are we doing all these things? We're distributing prasadam to attract people to Krishna. And Krishna is very attractive. Everything about Krishna is attractive. His name, his form, his qualities, pastime, everything about Krishna is attractive. Now materially, as Prabhupada mentions here, everything about a woman is attractive too. Not all of them. But the beautiful face, the voice, you know, and yeah, just sometimes the way they walk and dance, and they try to, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport, they try to trap the man. Kashyapa Muni, he was trapped. They try to trap the man, and they have this body that's very attractive, and it traps the man. But we want to get trapped by Krishna. It's like this devotee that does all the movies, Yadubar. He went to India just to do a story about the Hare Krishnas. And because Prabhupada is so attractive, and he attracts so many to Krishna by his preaching, Yadubar also became attracted. And eventually Prabhupada said to him, I think Krishna has captured you. And he agreed. Krishna captured him. By the Shakti of the pure devotee, we want to get captured. We want to get captured by Krishna. We want to get trapped by Krishna, absorbed in Krishna. So this is actually the perfection of life, is to become attracted to Krishna and captured by Krishna. And this will be the success of the human form of life, to be captured by Krishna. So is there any question or comment?
A little comment.
Yes. Oh, it's very loud.
Too loud.
Put it way far away from you. There, right there. Yeah, talk.
Hare Krishna.
Good. But point it away from the speaker.
You're pretty loud too.
Point it away from the speaker.
Oh boy. So, within this purport, there is one sentence near the end. To see a woman's face or appreciate its beauty, or to hear a woman's voice and appreciate her singing as very nice, is a subtle fall down for a brahmacharya sannyasi. Now, I see this sentence inspired a letter, I think from a devotee, well-known devotee at the time, a Kirtaniya. When the Govindas came out, I don't know if you all realize, we're listening to a woman's voice every morning.
Yeah.
Yamuna Devi, singing Govinda Mani Purusham. And when Prabhupada heard, he was enthralled. But for the first time, he sat down in the Vyasasan, this was in LA, and I think tears are coming from his eye. But then the devotees read this and it said, well, this, so they thought that we shouldn't play it. He wrote a letter to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, no, this is a concept, we listen to all of it, I'm appreciating. So that can cause a little bit of confusion. And I think everyone knows now who's attended or seen on the YouTube any of these kirtan melas, that there are often ladies singing in the kirtan melas. And they're just sitting, sannyasis are hearing it, brahmacharis are hearing it. So I think there has to be a little bit of a footnote there, that in kirtan, in certain circumstances, that's not a hard and fast rule. Although I guess if you're getting attracted, if you're getting agitated, you should leave, but you shouldn't think, oh, this is a universal principle, and try to preach it that way, because it's just, they give class and they think Jai Radhamadhava, so. Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing I wanted to do, I don't know if you wanted to, but
well, first on that one.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing about Jamuna, Prabhupada, there's only one devotee in the movement who said was on the level above, and that was Yamuna. Amongst men and women, she's the only one that Prabhupada said was on the level above. She wasn't an ordinary soul at all. Very great devotee. So, I mean, this is a statement by Prabhupada, so we should also take that seriously. Brahmachari shouldn't hear the singing of women singing. We shouldn't hear the singing of a woman. If it's appreciated, I mean, what do you think, Davida?
I think that the key word is the appreciate. How are you appreciating? Is it like singing a song, or you become attracted? How you're hearing it. I mean, we've got so much now experience. We've got big kirtan melas going on, and some of these famous ladies are singing, and everybody's listening, and nobody's getting agitated. If they're getting agitated, then leave. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's why they appreciate. I think in this context, appreciate means, because the whole paragraph is about becoming attracted by the face and the voice,
That's a good point.
But so, I mean, it has to be a little discretion there because of,
Yeah.
That's the idea.
What else were you going to say?
Well, I wanted that prayer of Nrsingadev's, of Plad's to Nrsingadev, where at the end of the purport, Prabhupada said, any devotee who wants to be free of material desire should offer this prayer to Nrsingadev, like Prahlad does. And maybe I should share it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So this is 18th chapter, 5th canto, when the residents of Jamudvip are offering prayers, and one of those residents is Prahlad Maharaj. I really remember this because I edited it. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Jastejase Avadavir Bhavavaddanakavadvadangsha Karma Shayan Randaya Randayatamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhihamapani Bhuhishta Om Kṣatriya. You can offer it every morning to
Jai.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possess nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruit of activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world.
Jai.
Very powerful.
So yes, Lord Nrsingadev will help us become free of our material desires. Thank you. Anything else?
Hare Krishna. I guess in relation to this this letter from Prabhupada, I'm familiar with that letter, but I guess the way I see it is that it doesn't seem to me like it contradicts what Prabhupada is saying in this purport, because the quote Prabhupada says, "It is not ordinary singing; it is concert." He says, many people are singing, so it is not bad. Just like Sankirtan, many voices are there, men and women, so it is the same thing. So I guess
that's referring to Yamuna.
Yeah, referring to
it was actually a symphony. It was many instruments. It was actually a symphony. It was an orchestra. Orchestrated.
I think Prabhupada in particular is commenting on the fact that he says many are singing, so it is not bad.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like Prabhupada saying in this purport that for a sannyasi or brahmachari to hear the singing of a woman is he says that brahmachari or sannyasi shouldn't hear it. And then in this letter, it seems like Prabhupada is saying, or at least he's standing by that same thing. He's just saying that in this case, you're not just hearing the singing of a woman, you're hearing many people. Just like in kirtan, you're hearing many people.
Yeah.
But if it were, so Prabhupada said many people are singing, so it is not bad, which I guess to me it seems like it implies that if it was just a woman singing, then it would be different. But
So to just hear one lady singing is different, according to that statement. Yeah.
Anyway, that's what it seems like to me.
Hmm.
But just perhaps I'm wrong. I don't know.
Microphone?
Yes, I can't remember which shloka it is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but it states something like a materialistic woman is like a snake. And so I think what this is mainly applying to is a woman that's in that mode. Not in, so obviously Yamuna Devi Dasi wasn't in that mode, you know. So if we have, very good devotee, female devotee that's, doing seva, regular seva and sadhana and supporting her husband in that fashion and working on that, the partnership of that Krishna consciousness as a family unit to raise Krishna conscious children, I don't think that's really applicable to what this is discussing here.
Yeah.
Whereas if a woman that's in the mode of passion, materialistic,
or ignorance,
then obviously that's a
there's not only
detriment to anybody.
Yamuna, but there's many exalted women in our society by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, that are to be respected. Prabhupada said we always address the women as mother. I mean, personally, there's no person that I ever opened the door for except for my mother. We'd go to the store, I'd open the door for her out of respect. I was very respectful to my mother. So that's why he said we should address women as mother, to have that respect towards women. Yeah. You had something?
We hear a lot of descriptions of the spiritual world in the scripture, but if I were to question further, for example, I were to say that there are rivers in the spiritual world, right? So these rivers, how are they? What do they look like? What are they? And then the answer would be, of course, well, they're spiritual. They're beyond our material vision. They're beyond our material conception, right? So, therefore, the accurate description would be that it's not a river. To say that it is a river would be inaccurate, but to say that it's not a river would be accurate.
It's not a material river.
Right, but any material conception of a river based on our material senses would be inaccurate. But yet we're given descriptions of different spiritual things that materially can't be conceived of. So the point is, what's the point of these descriptions of the spiritual world if any conception that we have is lacking?
Well, at least we get an understanding that it's superior to what we experience. Like the other day, I was speaking to a Christian, and I explained to him that God has a form. Man was created from the image of God. Image means form. He has a form of God. So he said, "Well, what's the form of God?" I said, "Well, it's a spiritual body, a completely spiritual body. He doesn't need food. He's atmaram. He doesn't need water." And he was like shocked. A spiritual body, you can't imagine. But it's inconceivable to our senses, to our understanding. But it's easy to understand. It's much superior. So it's something that we can appreciate. Spiritual bodies are inconceivably superior to our material body. So it's something to to appreciate that spiritual body, spiritual world, spiritual river. The river, when Krishna plays the flute, the rivers stop flowing. The non-moving things, they move. When the moving things, they stop. And the Yamuna, she's a person also. So yeah, it's inconceivably wonderful. Everything about the spiritual world is inconceivably wonderful. So therefore that gives some impetus to surrender to Krishna. Get our spiritual body. Originally we all had a spiritual body, and now we're stuck in these material bodies with our material concepts and can't even understand the spiritual world and the spiritual bodies. We're so dull. But now we're in this path, this journey, so that we could get purified and go back to the spiritual world, have our original svarup, our spiritual bodies. Anything else? Yes, Prabhu. It's not on. Just hold it for a second.
Thank you. Very amazing class.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, you were discussing before with the bit about the difference, the type of appreciation. Well, if some beautiful Mataji is singing, we'll appreciate like her talent, her personal talent, and her personal beauty. Whereas if, a great devotee is glorifying Krishna, we will actually appreciate her talent for glorifying Krishna. So there's like a big difference in the way that we're actually appreciating. We're appreciating the materialist in a material way, and we're appreciating the devotee in a spiritual way. I actually heard Yamuna Devi one time. She came to Delhi when I was there, and she said she gave a talk, and then she said, "Are there any questions?" Someone raised their hand and they said, "Could you please sing the Govindam prayers?" So she actually sang the Govindam prayers in person. And when I heard that, it was like the most unbelievable thing I ever heard. It just felt like I was in the spiritual world. It was unbelievable. She was so pure, and so I could really appreciate her great spiritual qualities.
Yeah, she was not an ordinary soul.
Yeah, no. And
it's interesting. There was one pastime of Prabhupada. He was with a devotee in a plane, and the stewardess was very attractive. And Prabhupada said to the brahmachari next to him, "Isn't she beautiful?" Now the brahmachari didn't know what to say. He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. And then Prabhupada said, "Yeah, she's very beautiful. But she was created by Krishna. So imagine how beautiful Krishna is." Another time a devotee said, "Prabhupada, isn't the sunrise beautiful?" And Prabhupada said, "Imagine how beautiful the person is who made the sunrise." So Prabhupada always connected Krishna. Yeah. So Krishna conscious. Yes, Dravida.
Comment. This is a quick comment about Madhavapuri's question. We always remember that the rivers or anything else here are perverted reflections of the reality. So the real rivers are like, the Yamuna, which is alive, and which, as you say, it reacts to Krishna's flute and becomes stunned and everything. And we have rivers here that are reflections of that. But the river here, especially holy rivers like the Ganges and the Yamuna and so forth, if we respect them as spiritual and we take shelter and we worship them, then Krishna is pleased and he starts to reveal the real rivers to us, just like the deity. Someone walks in here and says, "What are these people worshiping a stone for?" But we know it's not a stone. It's actually Krishna's mercy appearing in this form of through whatever material it may be. But it's actually Krishna. And if we worship Krishna as such, then he reveals himself proportionately. So the reality is this is all reflection. It's all perverted reflection. Wonderful phrase, Prabhupada. So we should always remember that the real rivers are up there. The real cows, the real love, everything is there. This is all a reflection. We're trying to, But we can use the reflection to get Krishna's mercy to reveal the reality.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vijaya Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Vijay Prabhu, thank you very much. You're most kind. Dandavat pranams, Prabhu. In the translation to the text you chose for today, we see that the heart of a woman is extremely sharp, like the blade of a razor. And I understand it as the following: and at the very end of the translation, we find that it is difficult to understand the dealings of a woman. So, and this translation transported me to Bhagavad Gita, where I find Lord Krishna chanting to Arjuna, quote, "O son of Prita, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, vaiśyās, merchants, and śūdrās, workers, can attain the supreme destination." So based on all of this, and I do need to say the following before I present my exact question. When we see a devotee, it doesn't matter if the devotee is in a male body or in a female body, we take that this devotee is a devotee because of the symptoms being showed by this devotee. And if we take in consideration Lord Chaitanya's movement, we see that this devotee will be there chanting, dancing, feasting, and discussing mostly Srimad Bhagavatam for the purpose of incessant glorification of Lord Krishna. But then in the translation to the verse you chose for today, we see that it's difficult to understand what is that a woman wants to do with her life. So based on all of this, my exact question is, why does Lord Krishna admit women as fit candidates in order for them to attain the supreme destination?
Say that last sentence again. Sorry.
My last sentence was, if it is difficult for us to understand the dealings of a woman, in the sense that it's not clear for us if she is a devotee or not, why does Lord Krishna admit and allows women to become fit candidates for the attainment of the supreme destination? Shouldn't Lord Krishna reject women just because what is being said in the translation to the text you chose for today? Oh, women are very difficult to understand. We never know what is it that they want to do with their life. So I'll reject them. They're not fit candidates for becoming self-realized. Why does Krishna is giving to women the mercy?
I think we got it, Vijay Krishna Prabhu. We understand. You have to. What we're reading here in the Bhagavatam now is a description of a woman totally in the modes of nature at this point, Diti, who just wants revenge because her beloved sons, Hiranyaksha and Rajakashipu, were killed by Krishna, and she says at the instigation of Indra. So it's a whole different situation. But Krishna gives Mami Partha Vipashati Yepisu Papayona. Those who take full shelter of me, That's the qualification. Deity is not taking full shelter of Krishna right here. It doesn't matter who they are. And she names the four, one of which is women, They will attain. That's what Prabhupada means by can attain. They will attain me if they take full shelter, no matter what. So the point is that any person with enough intelligence to surrender to Krishna will attain perfection, and the body is just a covering on the soul. That soul will go back to guide it. So you're trying to compare apples and oranges here. Here, when he's talking about study a woman's heart, study a materialistic woman in the most ordinary women, vast majority in the world, then you'll find all of these problems sharp like a blade. But that doesn't pertain to Yamuna. It doesn't, Devi, it doesn't pertain to the devotee in that 932 who surrendered unto Krishna. Surrendering unto Krishna means that you're not in this category, even though you may have a woman's body. You understand? I think
yes, I do.
That's the point.
Prabhu, I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.